So before we get into today's video, I want to give a quick update on my stepdad and his stroke situation. He went home last week. Everything seemed to be getting better. He was using a walker. They put some rails in his house and stuff so he could get around. And then unfortunately, yesterday he did have another stroke. He was admitted back into the hospital. It doesn't seem like it's anywhere near as bad as the initial one was. This is more so just brain regulated from what I've been told. And just, he was acting kind of funny and he went to the hospital and he had another stroke. They did an MRI. So if you could keep him in your thoughts and prayers, hopefully they find out the source of this. Obviously, kind of stressful, but he will fight through. He will pull through. He is a strong person. So thank you guys for your support. I sincerely appreciate it. But we do have some video game news to talk about today and some interesting things that I definitely want to cover. So if this is your first time on the channel, apologies for the trauma dump there. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. I would sincerely appreciate it. But first off, I want to talk about a brand new N64 FPGA console that was revealed last night. It's cheaper than the Analog 3D, and we've actually seen this thing in action. So this is coming to us from Palmer Luckey, who is someone that a lot of people don't like. I think he's a Donald Trump fan. So by proxy, a lot of people don't like him. I don't care like who he's a fan of or who he votes for or who he prays to. If you make something cool, I mean, I'll probably buy it. Like, let's be realistic. All these companies work in third world countries and, there's kids on the assembly line and stuff like that. Who am I to play, God and, play the judge and the jury when it comes to this? But the newest Mod Retro product is M64. Now, Palmer Luckey has done a Game Boy that was pretty successful. People seem to really like it. The best and most authentic way to play your N64 games, bar none. Prepare your wallet, embrace your mind. Launches at the same price as the original Nintendo 64. Inflation isn't nostalgic. So the price has been revealed for early adopters. It will be $199.99, so $50 cheaper than the Analog 3D. And there's even a little video here where you could see some gameplay action. And I know what you're saying to yourself, well, this looks like AI or something like that, but this is actually footage of the system running on the hardware that it has. So a little bit of a teaser there. It's more than we've gotten from Analog, though. And as we scroll down here, we can see this is real gameplay on real hardware using our core, the most efficient and accurate re-implementation of the original by far. We show off the final design and launch pre-orders for hardware, new titles, and re-release classics pending final legal checks. So they do also re-release like physical games and stuff like that, which I think is really cool. That could be something really interesting. This individual here from the shortcut asks about upscaling and different colors. Upscale is the wrong word for what we're doing, in my opinion, but yes, lots of colors. Too early to lock in the long-term price. Natively compatible with OG controllers, but we have an incredible N64 controller that is a huge step up and still authentic. This is the best that there is. So that's kind of one of the interesting things is, with the Analog, a lot of people were wondering, like, how is it going to do 4K? Is it just going to be displaying in 4K, or is there going to be some sort of upscale? And Mr. Luckey seems to be a lot more, like, open and honest about his project versus what Analog is doing, which is kind of covered in secrecy. So I'm pretty excited for this. Another FPGA core N64 system. You can see there's an old man here and then a younger old man here trying to get their hands on the system early to get a review unit. But this is definitely something very excited. Over on the Mod Retro website, which you can check out here and then go to modretro.com. They do have, I need to follow them. They do have a link to where you can sign up to get information on it and get the pre-order price whenever it decides to go up. You could see here, this is their Game Boy that they made and some of the reviews of it. A very nice looking system here. The screen looks great. Everything works on it. So very cool stuff, something to obviously be interested in and look forward to in the future. I'm all for the N64 Clone Wars. We were supposed to have this years ago. It never happened. rather, later than never. So definitely something cool here. Let me know in the comments section down below. Is this something that you would be interested in? And buy the Art of N64 Wrestling Games book if you want all of the cutting edge information on N64 wrestling games. Link in the description box down below. And our final topic has to do with this mythical July Nintendo Direct, because obviously it's not happening this week. Next week is the final week of July, and people are starting to clutch their pearls. They're getting nervous. Is this going to happen? But there is proof, I feel, that there is going to be a Nintendo Direct next week. The first proof that we have comes from, well, the man himself, Nate the Hate. Nate the Hate has once again doubled down in saying that there will be a July Nintendo Direct. He did this yesterday, which pretty much confirms to me personally that there will be a July Nintendo Direct presentation. I mean, it does make sense just from a chronological standpoint, but it does make sense in the fact that Nate knows his stuff. He has great sources. Whether you want to believe him or not, that's up to you. But I always say, if Nate says it, I'm pretty much going to believe it. And if it doesn't happen and Nate said it, there was a valid reason as to why that didn't happen. But that's not my only proof here, because I do feel like there is another piece of evidence that has been revealed that shows that there is going to be a Nintendo Direct next week, because this has to do with one of the games we expect to be there. Now, obviously, we do know about some upcoming Nintendo Switch 2 related titles. Games like Metroid Prime 4, Kirby Air Riders, so on and so forth. But when it comes to those games, they don't have release dates. They don't have ratings for them either that could sort of pinpoint that there is going to be an imminent release of this within the next, month or two or something like that. Well, one of the games in question would be Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, a spin-off game based on the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom storyline, of course being done in conjunction with Koei Tecmo and Nintendo themselves. Now, we have seen a trailer for this game. It does look pretty cool, taking some of the stuff in the lore and the world from Tears of the Kingdom, putting it in a Warriors-style game where you're hacking and slashing through waves of enemies and stuff like that. Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition is still one of my favorite games on the original Nintendo Switch. Really, by extension, like all the versions I like of that game. The Wii U version was awesome. Like, I don't care, dude. That game is awesome. And that's my favorite Warriors game. But this game has recently been rated by a ratings board. Now, this rating board is based out of Brazil. But whenever something does get rated, that pretty much means that the release of this game is imminent. It is coming very, very soon. Within a matter of a few months. A month or two, maybe 3 or so when it comes to things like that. So the rating of this game going up on the Brazilian ratings board, coinciding with a looming Nintendo Direct presentation, I mean, just put 2 and 2 together. More than likely, at next week's Nintendo Direct, there will be a release date revealed for Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, and I think that does make perfect sense. We have all these games that Nintendo has shown us that are allegedly coming in 2025, but we need some release dates on them. So this rating just happening to go up right now, coinciding with the included information from Nate the Hate himself, I am pretty much on board with a Nintendo Direct happening next week. I am planning my week around the upcoming Nintendo Direct, so I'm pretty much sold on this event. And I know there's going to be people in the comments, well, it doesn't happen until Nintendo says it, or, oh, Nate doesn't know anything. And that's fine, dude. But don't act all hyped and surprised next week when it's revealed that there's going to be a Nintendo Direct, and when it happens next week, and then come back to me and be like, oh, I knew it the whole time. No. We ain't dealing with flip-floppers over here. We're not dealing with side jumpers and stuff like that. Stand on your business, 10 toes down. I'm 10 toes down on this. There will be a Nintendo Direct next week, and Nate the Hate saying it, and Age of Imprisonment getting rated is pretty much the proof that I think everyone needs when it comes to that. So that is the information I have for you guys today. A little bit of a quicker video. Yes, I am working on a WWE 2K25 Switch 2 review. It's actually a very impressive port. I've got a bunch of footage captured for it. I played it way too much yesterday, trying out some of the things. There's actually a Switch 2 exclusive feature that is absolutely awesome in this version. But I had to call up an old friend. I had to call up an old friend and be like, hey, I need you in this video. So I am waiting for them to do a few things for me. Hopefully by the weekend we'll have that up. I think he was getting home midweek, he said, and then he was going to film for me. So hopefully I get that stuff over today or tomorrow, and then I can get that video working for you guys. But trust me, it'll be worth the wait. Something that a lot of people have been asking for. Let me know what you think about all this stuff in the comment section down below, though. Are you looking forward to another N64 FPGA system? What do you think about the Nintendo Direct next week? And if you think it's not going to happen, I mean, you're probably wrong. You're probably wrong. And as always, thank you guys for watching this video. Keep my dad in your thoughts and prayers, please. I don't care what God you pray to. Something's got to work, right? And as always, guys, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.